The rain had just stopped. Damon Cole pulled into his driveway a little after midnight. He was tired. He wanted his bed. Nothing else. Then he saw her, Nora Bennett, his assistant, slipping out through the side door of his mansion, shoes in her hand, like she was running from something. Their eyes met under the porch light. She froze. He did too. "Nora," he said, "what are you doing here?" She opened her mouth, closed it again. For one long second, neither of them moved. Something was wrong, and whatever it was about to change everything between them. 3 weeks earlier, Nora had walked into Cole Enterprises with a resume in her hand and nothing else. No connections, no family name, just talent and a need to prove herself. Damon Cole was not an easy man to work for. Everyone said so. He was sharp. He noticed everything. He trusted almost no one. But from her first day, Nora surprised him. She caught mistakes before they happened. She stayed late without being asked. She never once complained. "You're different," he told her one evening, watching her organize a stack of contracts nobody else wanted to touch. "Most people quit by week 2. "I'm not most people," she said, without looking up. He almost smiled. Almost. That was the start of it. Small moments. Quiet ones. The kind nobody else noticed. He started asking her to stay for the late meetings. She started bringing him coffee before he even asked. Neither of them called it anything. It was just work. That was what they told themselves. Then came the request that changed everything. "I need someone I can trust," Damon said one night, standing in his home office. The city lights glowed behind him through the window. Something is happening inside this company. Numbers that don't add up. People who shouldn't have access to certain files. Nora's stomach tightened. "What do you need me to do?" "Work from here," he said. "My home office. Just until I figure out who I can trust in that building. I don't want anyone else to know." She should have said no. She said yes. For the next 2 weeks, Nora came to the mansion after hours. She sat in his office long after the staff went home. She dug through spreadsheets, contracts, emails, looking for the crack in the company that Damon could feel but could not prove. She told herself it was just a job. But some nights, Damon would come home from a dinner meeting, loosen his tie, and sit across from her instead of going to bed. They would talk, not about numbers, about real things. His mother, who he lost too young. Her father, who left before she could remember his face. He asked about her dreams. She asked about the loneliness behind his success. Neither one of them noticed how close they were sitting until it was already too late to pretend they hadn't. If you have ever felt that pull towards someone you were not supposed to want, drop a comment below. Let us know we are not the only ones who understand that feeling. The night everything changed started like any other. Nora had found something. A hidden transfer. A name she recognized. Her hands were shaking as she saved the file to a private folder, one Damon didn't know about yet. She needed time to be sure before she showed him. One mistake could destroy the wrong person's life. She packed her things quickly. Too quickly. She didn't hear his car in the driveway. She didn't know he was already walking through the front door. All she knew was that she needed to leave before anyone saw her there. Before questions started. Before her secret came out too soon. She stepped out the side door into the cool night air and walked straight into the one moment she wasn't ready for. Damon, standing under the porch light, staring at her like she was someone he didn't know at all. "Nora." His voice was low. "Careful. Why are you sneaking out of my house at midnight?" "I wasn't sneaking," she said, but her voice shook on the last word, and they both heard it. "You're holding your shoes in your hand." He stepped closer. "That looks like sneaking to me." She had no answer for that. Not one she could give him yet. "I had work to finish," she said instead. "I didn't want to bother you." "At midnight?" "Yes. With your shoes off." She looked away. "Damon, please. Just trust me." Something in his face changed. Not anger exactly. Something closer to hurt. "I do trust you. That's the problem. I gave you a key to my house. My private files. Things I haven't told my own board of directors. And now I find you slipping out the side door like a stranger. It's not what you think." "Then tell me what it is." She wanted to. God, she wanted to. But the file on her laptop wasn't finished. The name she'd found wasn't confirmed. If she told him now, half right, it could ruin everything. It could ruin someone's life. Maybe even his. "I can't. Not yet." He studied her for a long moment. The porch light caught the tired lines around his eyes. The same eyes that had softened every time she made him laugh over the last 2 weeks. "Okay," he said quietly. "Then answer me this. Whatever you're hiding, Does it have anything to do with why you've been staying up until 3 in the morning? Why you jump every time your phone buzzes? Her breath caught. He'd noticed. Of course he'd noticed. He noticed everything. You've been watching me, she said. I've been worried about you. He ran a hand through his hair. There's a difference. The words landed somewhere soft in her chest, somewhere she hadn't let anyone touch in a long time. Damon, I keep telling myself this is just business, he said, cutting her off like the words had been building for days and finally broke loose. That you're my assistant, and I hired you to help me find whoever is trying to hurt this company. But standing here right now, that's not what I'm thinking about. What are you thinking about? She whispered. He didn't answer with words. He stepped closer, slow enough that she could have stopped him. She didn't. The space between them disappeared. For one heartbeat, the secret, the danger, the company, none of it mattered. There was only the quiet dark, the porch light, and two people who had spent weeks pretending they didn't feel this. Then Nora stepped back. I can't, she said, breathless. Not while I'm hiding something from you. It isn't fair to you. Damon's jaw tightened, but he nodded slowly. Then find whoever you're protecting. Finish whatever this is, and then come back and tell me the truth. And if I can't, then I'll find it myself, he said. And I hope to God I don't find out you were the one keeping it from me. The words cut deeper than he meant them to. She could see it on his face the second he said them. If you felt that ache just now, that moment when love and fear crash into each other, hit that like button. It helps more than you know, and it tells us to keep going. Nora walked to her car in silence. She didn't look back. She didn't trust herself to. But halfway down the driveway, she stopped. Because parked at the curb, lights off, engine running, was a car she recognized. The same car that had been outside the office 3 times this week. Someone was watching her. And now, they might be watching Damon too. By morning, the office was already whispering. Someone had seen Nora's car outside Damon's mansion 3 nights in a row. By the time the story reached the break room, it had grown teeth. She was called things she never expected to hear about herself. Gold digger. Desperate. A woman who slept her way into a corner office. She sat at her desk, cheeks burning, pretending not to hear. Damon heard it too. He heard it in the way conversations stopped when he walked past. He heard it in the careful, too polite tone his own board members used with him that afternoon. He found her in the copy room, alone, staring at a stack of papers she wasn't really reading. They're talking, he said. I know. Her voice was flat. I can hear them. I'm sorry. This is my fault. I should have thought about how it would look. She shook her head. You didn't do anything wrong. Neither did you. He leaned against the counter, arms crossed, thinking, there's a way to stop this. It's not perfect, but might work. What? Let them believe something else instead. Something less ugly than what they've already decided is true. Nora's stomach turned. What are you saying? I'm saying, Damon said slowly, that if people think we're actually together, this whole story changes. It's not a scandal anymore. It's just a relationship. She stared at him. You want us to pretend to date. Just until this dies down. Just until you finish whatever it is you're working on. Then we go back to normal, and nobody has to know the real reason you were at my house. It should have sounded insane. It should have taken her half a second to say no. Instead, she felt something flicker in her chest. Something that scared her more than the rumors ever could. Okay, she said quietly. Fake. Just fake. Just fake, he agreed. Neither of them sounded very sure of it. The next few days were strange in a way Nora hadn't prepared for. Damon started walking her to her car. He brought her coffee instead of the other way around. At the company dinner that Friday, he kept his hand at the small of her back, and every time he did, her whole body remembered it long after he let go. The rumors stopped almost overnight. In their place came something worse and softer. People started smiling at them, congratulating them, believing in something that wasn't supposed to be real. The trouble was, Nora was starting to believe it too. One night, working late in his office again, she caught him watching her instead of his laptop screen. What? She asked, cheeks warming. Nothing, he said. I just forgot for a second that this was supposed to be pretend. She didn't know what to say to that. So she said nothing at all and let the silence sit between them, warm and dangerous. If this kind of slow burn, can't look away love has your heart racing right now, comment your favorite line so far. We read every single one, and it tells us you're feeling this story too. But not everyone was fooled. Later that night, an email landed in Nora's inbox from an address she didn't recognize. The subject line read, "I know what you're really doing at his house." Her hands went cold. Whoever had been watching her outside the office wasn't just watching anymore. They knew. And if they knew about the files, about the transfer, about the name she still hadn't told Damon, then the fake relationship wasn't the only thing about to fall apart. Nora didn't sleep that night. She read the email over and over, searching for a name, a clue, anything. "I know what you're really doing at his house." Whoever sent it knew about her late nights, knew about the files, knew more than they should. She decided not to tell Damon. Not yet. Telling him meant explaining everything, and everything wasn't ready. The transfer she'd found led to a name inside his own company, someone close to him, someone he trusted. She needed proof before she broke his trust in someone he considered family. So she kept digging. Alone. 3 nights later, she fell asleep at his desk, laptop open, the private folder still on her screen. Damon found her there just after 11. Her head resting on her arms, hair falling across the keyboard, breathing slow and even. For a moment, he just watched her, something warm and unguarded moving through his chest. Then his eyes drifted to the screen. A folder, unlabeled, full of financial documents. His company's financial documents. Transfer records. Account numbers. His family's private accounts. The ones only 3 people were supposed to have access to. And his name was on nearly every page. His stomach dropped. He reached past her, careful not to wake her, and clicked the folder open wider. More files. Dates going back weeks. Notes in the margins, written in Nora's handwriting, tracking numbers, circling accounts. It looked exactly like what his lawyers had warned him about. Someone close to him, gathering evidence, building a case, preparing to take something from him or expose something about him. He stepped back like the desk had turned to fire. Nora. She woke with a start, blinking against the light. What? Then she saw his face, and she saw what was still open on the screen behind her. Damon, wait. Is this why you've been coming here? His voice was quiet, which was somehow worse than shouting. Is this what you've actually been doing? Not helping me. Investigating me. It's not what it looks like. That's what you said the first night too, he said. And I let it go. I trusted you. I brought you into my house, my private files, my family's finances, because I thought you were the one person who wasn't going to hurt me. I'm not hurting you. Her voice cracked. I'm trying to protect you. By hiding my own money from me. By writing secret notes about my family's accounts. He shook his head, and the look in his eyes was one she never wanted to see again. Not anger. Grief. Like he was watching something he believed in fall apart in real time. I don't even know what to call this anymore. Us. Whatever we were pretending to be. Damon, please, if you just let me explain. I think you should leave, he said. Tonight. The words hit harder than anything the office rumors had said about her. Because those had been lies. This was Damon, the one person she'd let herself hope for, looking at her like she was the danger he'd been searching for all along. If your heart just broke a little reading that, you are not alone. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens when the truth finally comes out, because it changes everything you think you know right now. Nora picked up her laptop with shaking hands. She didn't argue. She didn't defend herself again. She walked out into the night for the second time. But this time, she wasn't the only one who knew the truth was about to surface. Because 2 floors above the mansion's security office, a man named Preston Wade, Damon's business partner and oldest friend, was reading the exact same email Nora had received 3 nights ago. And he was smiling. The company gala was supposed to be his celebration. 20 years of Cole Enterprises champagne, string lights, a room full of people smiling for cameras. Nora almost didn't come. She'd spent 4 days rebuilding what Damon destroyed with one look. No calls answered. No messages returned. Just silence, heavier than anything she'd felt before. But she had one piece left to finish, one name left to confirm, and she couldn't do it from home. She found Preston Wade near the bar, laughing with a group of investors, champagne in hand, acting like a man who had nothing to hide. She'd been wrong about a lot of things. She hadn't been wrong about him. The transfers led back to accounts only he could access. Money moved slowly, quietly, over 18 months, drained from accounts meant for Damon's late mother's charity fund. Preston had been stealing from a dead woman's legacy, and from his best friend, one careful transaction at a time. Nora walked up to him, heart hammering. I know what you did. His smile didn't move. Excuse me? The transfers. The charity accounts. 18 months of it. She kept her voice low, but steady. I have every file. Every date. For just a second, something cold flickered behind his eyes. Then the smile came back, sharper this time. Careful, Nora. Accusations like that could ruin you. Who do you think people will believe? The assistant everyone already thinks slept her way into this company? Or me? Try me, she said. Across the room, Damon was watching. He'd seen her arrive. He'd told himself he wouldn't go near her tonight. But something about the tension in her shoulders, the way Preston leaned in too close, pulled him across the room before he decided to move at all. What's going on here? Damon asked, stepping between them. Nothing, Preston said smoothly. Just a misunderstanding. He's lying, Nora said. Her voice shook, but she didn't stop. Damon, I need you to listen to me. Everything I found in your office, it was never about you. It was about him. She opened her laptop right there at the edge of the dance floor, hands trembling, and turned the screen toward him. Transfer after transfer. Dates. Amounts. Preston's private account number, matched against the charity fund his own mother had started. The room around them seemed to go quiet, the way rooms do right before something breaks. Damon's face drained of color as he scrolled. Every page confirmed it. Every page was something Nora had risked everything to find, alone, unpaid, unthanked, while he accused her of betraying him. You knew this, Damon said slowly, looking up at Preston. You've known this whole time. Preston's calm finally cracked. Damon, listen to me. I can explain. She tried to explain, Damon said. I didn't listen. I'm listening now. This is the moment everything changes. If you've been holding your breath through this story, let us know with a comment. Tell us who you think deserves the real apology tonight. Security reached Preston before he could say another word. The gala dissolved into chaos. Cameras flashing, guests whispering, Damon's company shaking under a truth 20 years in the making. But in the middle of all of it, Damon turned to find Nora slipping quietly toward the exit, the way she always did when things got too heavy to stay. He caught her wrist at the door. Wait, he said. Don't leave. Not this time. Nora stopped, but she didn't turn around. Why? So you can accuse me of something else? No. His grip loosened, gentle now instead of urgent. So I can finally say what I should have said 4 nights ago. She turned to face him. Her eyes were tired, guarded, still raw from the words he'd thrown at her in that office. I was wrong, Damon said. I looked at those files and I saw betrayal because that's what I've always expected from people. My whole life, everyone who got close to my money got close for a reason. I built walls so high I couldn't tell the difference between someone protecting me and someone using me. And you, the one person who was actually trying to save me, I threw out of my own house at midnight. You had every reason to be scared, Nora said quietly. It looked bad. I know it did. That's not an excuse. You spent weeks risking your reputation, your safety, your job, to protect a company that isn't even yours. To protect me. And I repaid that by making you feel like a criminal. Her eyes filled, and she blinked hard, trying to hold it together in front of a room that had already seen too much tonight. I kept telling myself I was doing it for the company, she admitted. But that wasn't the whole truth. I was doing it for you. Because somewhere in those 3 weeks, I stopped seeing this as a job. I started seeing you. Really seeing you. The man behind all the meetings and the money. And I couldn't let anyone hurt that man. Not even to save myself. Damon stepped closer. Close enough that the noise of the gala faded into nothing behind them. That night on the porch, he said, when I first saw you sneaking out, I told myself it was suspicion I felt. But it wasn't. It was fear. Fear that I was already falling for you. And I didn't know how to trust that feeling without trusting you completely. Are you trusting it now? She whispered. I am, he said. Completely. No more pretending. No more fake arrangement. Just this. Just us. If you'll still have me. After everything. For the first time in days, Nora let herself smile. Small, careful, real. I never stopped having you, Damon. I just needed you to catch up. He laughed softly, the sound rough with everything he'd been holding in for 4 days, and reached for her hand. This time, when he pulled her close, there was no midnight secret between them. No rumor. No fear. Just 2 people who had finally stopped hiding. If this ending gave you chills, subscribe now, so you never miss the next story like this one. And tell us in the comments, would you have forgiven Damon as fast as Nora did? We read every answer, and your voice helps this story reach someone who needs it tonight. Preston Wade was arrested within a week. The stolen funds traced and returned to the charity his own mother had built with love he never understood. Damon rebuilt the trust his company lost, one honest conversation at a time. And every night after that, when Nora left his house, she never had to sneak out the side door again. She walked out the front, hand in his, in full view of everyone. Because some secrets are worth hiding. But love, once it's real, was never meant to be one of them.